Jennifer Lewis here, and I am stoked to have yet another person here to interview my friend now, Tanya Drennan, who is North Georgia-ish. Tell me about where you are and what you do and how long you've been there.
Hey, so good to see you again, Jennifer. I live in Jasper, so it's North Georgia. I've been here since 2010, so 13 years now. Well, actually, I spent 5 of those years in Canton and now 7 years in Jasper. I'm right on the outskirts of what's considered Metro Atlanta. And then on the other side, you have the North Georgia mountains. So I'm kind of in this area that a lot of transitions here.
Okay.
I love it. I'm a Georgia girl. You can tell by my accent. So I'm from a little bit south of here. I'm from Griffin.
Okay.
And so we relocated up here to work with a nonprofit. And I kind of went from nonprofit into real estate.
Fantastic. And you've been doing real estate for how long?
8 years. 8 fun years. Yeah. So I was a school teacher and then worked with some teenagers and then this.
Cool. Right on. Well, let's get into the numbers and then we'll talk details because they're not exciting. I'll flash them beforehand. Talk to me about what areas you pulled your numbers on, and then I'll compare mine.
So I pulled from Pickens County and then, which I did the whole county because it's very rural, that's southern. And then, and I compared it to Canton. So Canton is a small town in Cherokee County, which Cherokee is a bigger, more of a metro county. So in Canton, there's 34,000 people, and that's the city of Canton. Whereas in Pickens, we have about 34,000, but it's the whole county. So in Pickens, their county seat is Jasper, which has 4,200 people.
Oh,
so,
wow.
So yeah, I was like, we need more people in that Forbes. So I did Pickens. Then with the income, so those incomes are both comparable to each other and, the rest of Georgia. So in Pickens, the average income is $71,000 a year, where Canton is $75,000. So that's close to the state, across the state. Now, the average sales price, now this was interesting because as I broke the numbers down smaller and smaller, when I started off at the 6-month mark, looking at those numbers, they were similar. Pickens County and Canton were almost the same.
Okay.
But then when I broke it down to the past 30 days, there was a marked difference. And I thought that's just very interesting because you can see things have maybe slowed down a little bit more in Pickens County than they had in Canton. For the average home sale price in the last 30 days, Canton was $541,000.
I hear people wanting to go there a lot.
Yeah, it really has grown and sprouted. I mean, it's turned into they've just really, their downtown area has sprouted. They've got a lot of new businesses, a lot of neighborhoods that have come up. Well, then in Pickens County, that average price was $321,000.
Oh.
So I thought that's crazy because when I did the 6 months, they were maybe $10,000 difference. But then just the last 30 days, it was that much of a difference. That's $200,000 difference.
Yeah. And I always like to comment too that what we're pulling our number, like last 30 days is always the end of the year, which is a little bit slower. I mean, the weather in those areas has probably gotten a little bit rougher too. Yeah. So, but all of that.
It is a slower area because we have had snow days.
Yeah.
There was a week or two where it was, below 20. So everything stopped. We stop in Georgia when you get down that low. You can't work. So that is what happened. And then for the days on the market, and this is another thing that I thought was interesting, because when I did the 160 days, so the 6 months, they were 30 and 31. But then when I broke it down to just the past 30 days, the average days on market for Canton were 43. But then in Pickens, it went to 62. And then another thing, the square footage, the average square footage, when I did 6 months, they were both right around 2,500. So then when I did this past 30 days, Canton was 2,800 and then Pickens was 1,600.
There's probably a lot older homes in Pickens County, I would imagine.
There are more older homes. And so we saw the growth hit Canton. Any metro area, you see the metro area starts out, they grow, they expand. So we started off at Atlanta, then you get Cobb County, which is Marietta. They grew on to Woodstock, to Canton, and now we're really in the transition from Canton growing to the outer line areas a bit. And so that's what I'm seeing. So the neighborhood, the new builds, you've seen more of it. You've just seen that. That's how I've seen it happen.
Do you have any new construction over there that's like in the 200s?
There's 2 neighborhoods that are 300-ish. So low 300s, single family. Now there's a new townhome one that may be upper 200s. So that would be, the attached. But then there's 155 and over that's low 300s. And then a new single family. I
actually had to pull, I'm just going to compare a little bit. I mean, it sounds like your guys' average salary is higher than mine unless we pulled from different areas. But ultimately, I had to pull, Buford's only, it says 17,000 people. I'm going to estimate 18,000 people. I pulled Flowery Branch is only 10,000 people, so it's not even close. Lawrenceville is probably the biggest town around us, which is Gwinnett, which is south. And it's a little different dynamic. So there's 30,000 there. The medium sales price was, in Flowery Branch, I thought was interesting, was 83,000. And Buford is actually 54. I did read a stat somewhere else on Buford that it was higher. And I got to tell you, this is from the census.com site, but it still seems out of touch with.
So my numbers, I just Googled, Jennifer. So mine may be completely off. I just Googled.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that there is one place that I looked that had 79,000, but it's kind of an off the cuff site. Census is a little dated because it's about a year old, but it should put us on the right path. Average home sales price in Buford is $484, and the average home sales price in Lawrenceville was $372. Sounds similar, but here's the difference: is that Buford City Schools, I pulled the numbers for the last 30 days, and that was 608. So. We have little pockets where, we have the $1 million homes and all that kind of stuff, but there's not that many $1 million buyers. So we just don't see that huge tick up. There's obviously more buyers in the under $400,000 range. Definitely. And I just did a home tour that I'll post the video on too, for some townhomes in the 335 and under range. They're building a bunch of new communities. So it's nice to see there's still going to be some products that are under 350, 335-ish, brand new construction for people coming into the market. So that's pretty cool.
And I'm not sure if you watched our Governor Deal's speech this week, but he was talking about they're doing initiatives as a state because we've got all this new industry coming in, and they're going to have some sort of housing, which I'm not sure the details of it yet, but they realize we have an issue with not enough housing, affordable housing. He was talking about teachers.
I totally agree. I guess I don't know what to fix it. Again, I'm from California. We had the same problem back there when housing prices are going through the roof, and teachers are on a very bad salary as far as I'm concerned. They should be twice of what they're getting dealing with my kid. No, I'm just kidding. Teachers are saints, and they should absolutely 100% have amazing housing.
So I'm hoping they come up with some great idea.
I don't know. Everybody wants their money. It's tough. So fingers crossed it does. And we'll certainly keep our ears out for it. I wish they had more down payment assistance and grants, forgivable grants and things like that for police officers, firefighters, all that kind of stuff. That would make sense because those are the type of people you want in your community. But the ones that I've even looked at, I did an interview with Kim Schoening. I'll put the video up. But we kind of debunked the down payment assistance myth, because the truth is that you can't make more than this amount of money to qualify for this grant, but you need to make more than this amount of money to buy a house in that community.
To afford to live there. It doesn't, it's not even. It's not, you need a larger grant or there's too big of a gap.
Yep, agreed. And that's I don't know how they'll fix it. I hope that it gets fixed, and I hope it's not just giving people more free money, because people need to earn what they're getting. That's kind of the issue. So we'll see what that looks like. But let's talk more about your area. What do you do for fun? What kind of people move to your area and stuff like that?
So what I find, people that are moving from outside of this area are moving for less crowds.
Oh.
So you have people either retiring and wanting to come to the mountains. We moved from Cherokee County to Pickens County because my husband didn't want to see his neighbors.
I hear that all the time.
He said, that's what he wants. So he wanted a bit more space. And so you see a lot of that. People want more space.
Yep.
Here, we are seeing second homes. So people, you have a group from Atlanta or from, any metro area, but Atlanta, I see a lot of that. And they're needing a place. They're wanting to get their kids and family out of the city and be able to come for the weekend and have them live, farm life.
Totally.
And so we do see that.
It's a lot like Elijay and Blue Ridge Mountains are pretty popular for like VRBO destinations and things like that too.
Yeah, they are. So you have investors looking there. You just have a little bit of everything.
You guys got any lakes over there?
We have Allatoona. So we have Lake Allatoona in Cherokee County. And then there's a smaller lake, Carter's Lake in Talking Rock area. I'm sitting here thinking there's several in just Pickens County. We have a lot of neighborhoods that have their own lake.
Yeah.
So those lakes, some of them allow the big boats, some of them don't. Like a lot of them are just electric motor boats, but it's still a great place for fishing, swimming, kayaking, and all that. And you have rivers too. So we have whitewater rafting type. We like to float. We enjoy that, and it's even 30 minutes. And I tell people with these mountains, what looks on the map right next door, it may take you 30 minutes to go around the mountain. So even though on the map it may look a little bit further, in 30 minutes to an hour, you have so many fun things you can do.
How are the schools there? Like, are you guys public school, charter school? Talk to me about that.
So Cherokee County, their schools are top rated in the state. I think they're number 25. So those schools, and I was a teacher, so education's a big deal.
Yeah.
So when we started looking for a house, my husband was like, it was too congested for him, and it's not even, we're not talking about Atlanta congested. Yeah. He wanted to move further out in the country. And so then Pickens County schools are not in that top 30. When you pull your numbers, they're not in, but it doesn't have the resources, the financing that a bigger county would have. And that is what it is.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times with more money, how to do the things to where your scores come up. There's some manipulation to that.
Yeah. You have to take the scores with a grain of salt. Like, you have to keep in mind that, with money comes other things.
It does.
And that's not always what's important to people.
No. And that's what
class size and other resources and family dynamic outside of it.
Exactly. And that's what I wanted to point out. So when we moved from Cherokee to Pickens, and I said I was concerned because I am an educator, that is a big deal. And so our first year in Pickens Public School, I had a fourth grader and a kindergartner. Nervous wreck. So I get my boys in school. I get a call from school one day. We'd been in there, maybe 2 months, and my son's in trouble, my oldest, and he had shown out. This is too much information, but for this story, for you guys to understand, he goes to the bathroom and locks himself in a stall and won't come out. And so in a big school system, this could have escalated into a humongous deal.
Yeah.
This could have been him getting kicked out of school, resource officers taking him out. It could have been a really big deal. So I get the call that I need to come to the school. The counselor's got her arm around him. They're sitting on the couch together. The principal's at the desk. They are telling my child, and I'll start crying when I talk about this, how special he is. They de-escalated and then proceeded to build him up.
Yeah.
It's that personal interaction that totally, I'm at peace about the school now. Yeah. They're squalling and bawling because these people loved my kids.
Yeah.
In a situation that could have been him getting in serious trouble, or
especially in today's environment, like everything is a 911 call.
It could have been really ugly.
Yeah. What are your class sizes like?
They are 17. I would think average about 17 in the classroom. So it's a normal public school as far as that.
My first grader has 22. My little one is at a private school, so it's a little different dynamic. But class sizes are important, especially this is one thing that comes up even when I was talking with Kim is like learning disabilities and services and things like that. Right. There's so many people who have children who have special needs, whether it's with speech or learning or dyslexia or whatever it is. That one-on-one relationship is far more important than a number one school.
Definitely. That relationship can't be beat because that's what grows kids into adults.
Yeah.
Who are, functioning adults.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What else do you guys do there for fun? You guys have a downtown, midtown area that you guys go to?
So Canton has more active one. Like I said, they grew up a little bit faster. They have several little cute shops and restaurants, and Jasper is working on it. So we do have several good restaurants, ice cream place, coffee shops. And then they have for the weekends, and my boys love to go, there's like an escape and evade is what it's called. And it has a rage room. It has all the laser tag and all that fun stuff. For movie theaters, like we would have to drive to Elijay or Canton.
How far is the airport from you?
Traffic. So
without traffic, I mean, I'll map it.
The normal one would be 2 hours easy. Probably an hour and 45 minutes.
Do you guys have like big shopping areas, and do you guys have a Publix and a Kroger and or like a CVS and like pharmacies and healthcare and all that other stuff? I mean, you must if you've got retirees coming out, healthcare and all that kind of stuff.
Canton is the bigger place for all that, and then for shopping, I go to Woodstock just to be honest.
Okay.
I mean, that's more of what I'm used to. We do not have a Target in Jasper or a Publix, but we do have those in Canton. So in Jasper, we have plenty of pharmacies. We have Ingles and a Kroger and a Walmart. That's your only big places like shopping wise.
And how's the drive to Woodstock?
45 minutes.
Okay.
So for 30 minutes to an hour, I can get to anywhere I want to be.
30 minutes to an hour. So like a Costco if you need to.
Costco
or Sam's or whatever.
Right.
Cool. And you guys aren't too far from the Tennessee border. Or
nope.
How far?
So maybe an hour. Like we'll go to Chattanooga for the day. Maybe in a little bit over an hour.
An hour to Chattanooga, and there's tons of stuff to do there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's time in Chattanooga. I mean, we love doing all that. Well, I had my bad of not shopping, no good shopping. So that's 45 minutes. It's just a great small town feel.
Yeah, we were with Kim. I was talking to you about like it's the Hallmarky feel. Everybody's looking. I've had a couple of people on some of the group chats ask, where's the Hallmarky places? And Ozarks was filmed in Buford.
Yep.
And so and a couple actual Hallmark movies were filmed in Buford as well. And obviously the drive to us, which I've said 1,000 times, is the schools. We have in my opinion, we have the city dynamic with some of the rural country stuff too. There's traffic, don't get me wrong. So, right. I mean, that's a different kind of element. But for me, coming from a very involved suburban town, this is great for me. It's kind of the best of both worlds because I like to hike as much as the next person, but I'm not raising cattle.
No, right.
or having chickens or anything like that. Yeah. So Buford to me is the perfect place for me. Talk to me about your weather, tornadoes, stuff like that.
Well, this is Georgia, so you will experience all 4 seasons in one day.
Yep.
That is
a weather video.
So we are in the mountains. And so one thing that I have found, like the area that my house is in, we're not going to get snowed in a month out of the year or whatever. But there are places in Jasper, in Elijay, and the higher altitudes, they're going to have snow and ice when no one else in the town does. Okay. So we probably get snow 3 times a year. Georgia snow is different than, what a lot of northern states consider bad. Whatever, we do shut down schools and everything for a couple of days. Now, and it usually stretches out a little bit further because of those high altitude places. They're still snowed in. The rest of us are living normal life.
Yeah.
And they're still snowed in. So that does last a little bit longer because of that.
Okay. Tornadoes and because originally when I had moved here, a lot of people didn't know exactly where I was at in the state. Were asking about hurricanes and tornadoes too, because there was the one that was right in Nashville when we around the time that we moved here. And then the one Ian that just came up on the map, it looked like it was going to come and pummel us. And I feel like we're in this sweet little spot just above Atlanta where we are on the edge of the hurricanes and not really in the tornadoes. So probably
the last big tornado storm type where it did a lot of devastation was probably 10 years ago. And it was bad. So occasionally, but it's not anything. And there's plenty of warnings. So we have the tornado sirens in town.
You guys have basements?
Yes.
Okay.
We personally do, but everybody doesn't. But that's just part of the South.
I mean, here in Buford, a lot of the homes are obviously built on basements, but I don't know that we necessarily need them. It's become more of a hot commodity for entertaining space than anything. Whereas like, I feel like some places genuinely need a hiding zone or a storm shelter or something. Yeah. And so
we're not Kansas at all. So.
So yeah, I always like to ask about the weather because that is a concern and questions that I do get from people outside of the area who don't understand, how do you live there with tornadoes and hurricanes? It's not what it is. And you guys probably get the same amount of rain. And I did a weather video and I found out that July actually has the most rain in Georgia.
Yep.
So we get more rain in the summer than we do in the winter, although this past couple weeks has been interesting. But it's an interesting dynamic, again, for people who don't understand. I originally used to wear, rain boots when it was raining because it associated rain with cold. And now I'm like flip-flops and shorts because it rains for a minute and then you get a little wet and it dries and then you're moving on.
Yeah, and it's humid with that rain. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, but it's all manageable with air conditioning.
And your hair, you just give up on that on those days.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say hats are my friend, but I just don't really care. Everybody's in this together.
Yeah, we all understand.
Yeah. All right. Well, if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, how could they do that?
My cell phone is 770-468-9983. I'd be more than happy to discuss the area with you if you have any more specific questions that I didn't cover.
All right, cool. Well, thank you for being with me.
Thank you, Jennifer. Come on to Georgia, folks.